I'm really excited to get to introduce our speaker today, Brother Kirk Fausett. We're really excited to have him here. He came over to us from Irvine, California. Kirk is the father of 4 children, ranging from, I believe, 24 to 6. His wife, Deanna, still is there with the youngest, but his oldest has graduated and is working in the Southern California area, and also came here to school part of the time, so that's exciting. We always are excited to have some of our speakers have that tie to BYU Hawaii, although I think she finished up in Provo. Is that right? So Brother Fausett served his mission, full-time mission, served in Toronto, Canada. He's had various opportunities in the church as well as working with scouts, and that, boy, my hat's off to anybody that can work with scouts. That's a wonderful, fun thing to do, but it requires a lot to it. Teaching opportunities. But what I'd like to tell you a little bit about is some of his professional background, just briefly. He's been the owner of the Resource Management Group, a financial services company, and then he's done something that I've been involved with a lot, which is some real estate development, anything from buying and building homes, designing all types of real estate, luxury homes, condominiums, or commercial, as well as some subdivisions. And that's exciting. I've done that most of my life. He's been a national sales strategy lecturer, but I think one of the great things, and I'm certain he'll talk a little bit about this, is he's a partner in EcoSolve Distribution, a green, eco-friendly agricultural and cleaning company. And I'm always excited to see that. This university is very committed to being green. It's exciting to me. Just when we go into the Seasider, the products that we have are ecologically friendly. And so it's exciting to be part of that, and I'm certain that we'll all learn a lot. So please welcome to the campus today and to our lecture series, Brother Kirk L. Fausett.
Good morning, everyone. Aloha. I'd like to, introduce myself. My name is Kirk Fausett. I came from a small town, Bluebell, Utah. Had about 500 people in this town, so we had more cows than people. It was exciting. One of the most exciting things I think I saw in that community was when we got 4 stop signs, but they were all on the same intersection. So that's kind of the town I came from. I am, as you mentioned, I've got a beautiful wife, a very supportive wife, Dina, 4 daughters, Kayla, Cassie, Kiara, and Callie, aged from, 24 to, the youngest will be 6 next month. But I loved growing up in Bluebell. I had, I grew up on a farm. We had, about 160 acres of farming. We leased another 80, and it was great to, I loved working with the soil. I loved working, seeing the fruits of your labor, the planting, the crops, also the animals that we raised. But as I looked around, I saw so many people that work, the hardest workers I'd ever met. You work from dawn to dusk and sometimes even beyond. But I was noticing that it was getting more and more difficult to be able to support a family. And so I thought, there's got to be some other way that I'd be able to provide and be successful. But one of the first lessons that I learned growing up, and today what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you some of my experiences of what's helped me in my life, and I'm not necessarily going to be the Bill Gates or the Steve Jobs or those type of things, but some practical things that's happened with me, that the experiences I've had that hopefully will be a benefit to you. But one of the first things I learned was I was 16. I wanted to buy my first car, And a friend of my dad's, he had a truck for sale. Now, this isn't my truck, but it's the same year. It was a 1963 Chevrolet pickup. And, well, I call it a 63 because the motor and the cab were 1962, but the hood and the doors and the bed were 64, so I kind of averaged it, to 1963, which was significant, to me because that was the year I was born. So I went to the guy, he asked him how much he wanted, and he said, $125. I thought, okay, he wants $125. I wonder what I can do. And so I told him, I said, how about 100? And he kind of thought, and he was kind of stammering. Oh, wow, he's not going to go for $100. What am I going to do? I know, halfway between 100 and 125 is $112.50. So I jumped in and said, how about $112.50? He says, okay. I mean, right away, oh, dang, I should have maybe offered 105 and negotiated a little bit. So one, the first thing I learned was, be careful how you ask for something, because it will determine what you get. So you want to make sure that when you're asking, you make sure you make those good choices. Now, see if anybody can complete this saying. The early bird gets the worm, right? Okay, the early bird gets the worm. But what about the early worm? What happens to the early worm? The early worm gets eaten by the bird, right? So, I got thinking about that, and I really love the work, working on a farm, and just like I say, the feeling that you've seen the results of your efforts, and it was pretty amazing, to be involved in that. But I think my experiences growing up, on the working hard, my daughters, I think they kind of resent that because now I have the stories, walking to school and through the snow uphill both ways, and if they're a little uncomfortable, or they're not really enjoying the work they're doing, I say, well, at least you're not out in the hot sun beating down, digging post holes, or you're throwing 110-pound bales up at the hay wagon, and the leaves are coming down in your face and sticking until you get down your neck, and you're miserable. But they didn't really appreciate those experiences I had, but they do love going back to Bluebell, and get on a horse and ride for hours, and had some really good experiences. But one of my first jobs that I had growing up was, it was sweeping floors at a machine shop. And I got 75 cents an hour. And, well, I was excited. That was my first paying job. And then I went from there. I wanted, of course, to improve, and so I always loved going to the livestock auction. I would go with my grandpa, and most of the time we wouldn't buy anything. We just loved seeing all the action there, and I loved being involved in that. And so I kept approaching them. Hey, hire me. I'd like to work here. I'd like to work here. And finally, I think just to get rid of me, so quit bugging them. It's okay. You come to work. And I started out, and then I moved up to actually managing all the animals. As they would, me and the brand inspectors, they came in, checked to make sure the animals weren't rustled from somewhere, making sure you had the right types of animals listed for them to sell, and put them in the right pans, and getting them into the auction for that to take place, and then getting them panned in the correct areas so they're not being mixed up with the other animals, and making sure that the right owner got, the right buyer got the right animal. And when I first got there, it was just total chaos. But as I kind of studied that, I looked at it and come up with some ideas and ways of more efficiency, and really helped the process, and we had a lot less problems, and so it was really really interesting that way. Then when I was 23 years old, I started my first commission job, and I was working for a gentleman who owned a fire extinguisher sales and service business in Utah County when I was going to school, and he would give me the stack of, okay, these people their extinguisher need to be checked this month, and because it was required that someone checks on and makes sure everything's working properly, and he gave me this stack, and I would go and I'd realize that, what about all these other businesses? I'd go into this one business, but there were 3 or 4 or 5 other businesses right there, and so I started going in and talking to them and seeing what experiences or what services they might need, and in the first year I was able to increase the sales with this business by 150%. I eventually purchased that company and did very well with that. And then I started my financial services company and moved to California. And when I was in California, that's kind of when I was introduced to real estate. And I was working with a gentleman who they would buy foreclosures. It's really popular now, but back then there would be maybe 5 or 6 people who would be at the foreclosure sales, and they'd be there because it was it's all cash basis, and they would meet before and decide, okay, I'll get these 2 properties, you get this property, so they wouldn't bid against each other to raise the price. They could get a good deal on them, but it was really starting to catch on, and there started to be more and more competition, and the prices kept going up because we used to get them at 60-65% of the value, the resale value, and this competition was going up, and it was 80-85%, and the risk and reward just wasn't. It just didn't pencil out. It just wasn't, because a lot of things can happen, and you need to factor in those things, and it's just not. Just wasn't the risk worth the risk. And one time I was talking to a lender, and I thought, there's got to be some way that we can get a hand up on these guys. And I talked to him. I said, is there any way that we could buy the note from you before it went to foreclosure? And they had. This was the time of the savings and loan. We kind of see the mortgage industry really hit hard. This was savings and loan back then, similar type of thing, and banks had a lot of inventory they were trying to get rid of, and so we made those agreements where we would buy the notes, and it worked out well because if it's sold at the auction, we'd make money. If the property owner paid all the back payments, we'd still make money that way, or if it didn't, we'd be able to buy the properties and fix them up and sell them, and so it really worked out well for us. And then along with the same thing with the financial services company that I was operating, and that I started, I was introduced to an idea of how to take advantage of the IRS code with people who worked for educational institutions. They had a special tax code, and I was able to take that and build upon helping these clients to reduce their taxes, eliminate their debt, and build for retirement. And it was pretty interesting because this concept and this approach that I had, the national average for a monthly contribution that people put into their long-term retirement was about $185 to $200 a month was the average. And because of the way we structured it, our average compensation, our average contribution was about $850 a month. And it was, I was very successful, top 1% in sales, and that gave me the opportunities to go, all over the world and on these, trips, London, Cayman Islands, St. Kitts, Montreal, Hawaii, Nevis. I mean, it was real exciting. I kind of got out of that a little bit a few years ago because I had part of what I gave to the clients was the instruments that we were using. They had a guarantee that no matter what happens, you'll get at least a 3% return. So they couldn't lose money, but at least they had something there. You build a base first, and you go into more other options that are a little more risky. But then with all the financial meltdown and everything, that the actual 3% wasn't a 3% guarantee, and I really the insurance industry was able to work out where they didn't have to pay that 3%, and I just really didn't want to participate in something that, if I say it's a guarantee, I want to make sure it's a guarantee, but it wasn't, and so I moved on from there. But and all these different things that I did, it wasn't. I didn't come up with the idea. I didn't create it. I didn't come up with the new widget. I didn't invent the iPhone. I didn't do any of those things. I took things that were already in place, that had already been tested, that are already out there, and just improved upon it, saw ways that I could capitalize on a different approach that would benefit both the client and myself. So I really appreciated that. So excuse me. So I ended up, it's not, you don't just work hard, work smart is kind of what you get from that. Take what's there, but utilize it in different ways, and you find a little niche, and that will really benefit you. Probably one of the most important things that you can do in business and in your life is, we've been commanded 6 days, the Lord's labored, on the seventh day he rested, and we've been commanded to rest on the Sabbath day. I can't tell you how vital that will be to your success. You work hard, you work long, you're exerting all your energy, all your efforts, but if you take time to really sit back and give thanks to where all this comes from, don't even check your email, don't have a conversation, don't take a phone call, don't check anything online. We really want to keep the Sabbath day holy, because it is. You'll find that if you do that the rest of the time that you're working, your mind will be a lot more clear. You'll be more invigorated. You'll get a lot more done, I can tell you, than if you try and just work, because it's given for a purpose, and it's for our benefit. And so we really want to make sure that that's something that you do. Okay. Does anybody know what this is? What is it? It's a level. Okay, what's it used for? Okay, you make sure things are straight, make sure it's even, make sure it's true. And if you, I don't know, for those of you who don't know, what it does, it measures or keeps things straight and level. And this right here, let's see, maybe it worked. Oh, take the lid off. Oh, that way. Okay, I was trying to push this right here, this is called the bubble. And you want to make sure this bubble is between these two lines. That will tell you if your level, they have both the levels for vertical and horizontal. And you want to make sure that bubble is between those two lines, and that will direct and tell you if everything's lined up. And if it's not, if it's just off a little bit, your joists, your studs, you'll have all kinds of problems. Your sheetrock won't line up right. Your windows won't fit. Your doors won't close. The ceiling won't come together. It's vital that everything is lined up. We know that on a plane, if you're off just 1 degree in your heading over a couple thousand miles, the plane you could be several hundred miles off course if you're just 1 degree off. So I wanted to make sure that everything is straight in line and there's no question what you're doing. I recently had some unfortunate circumstances in business. I had a consultant that I'd brought on, and we had an agreement with him. He would help with projects to get a certain percentage of it, and if things worked out over in that year, then I would make him a partner. And a few months into it, found out he wasn't being honest. He was doing things that weren't right, taking funds and all kinds of things. And so I simply just didn't have him involved in any more of the projects. Waited till the end of the year. Our agreement was up, and we talked and said, you know what, it's just not working out. And he said, yeah, it's probably a good idea. I've got other things that I'm working on, and so we agreed to part. But little did I know of the things that were going behind the scenes. He did tremendous financial damage, fraudulent transfer properties, funds. I mean, it was just a disaster. Made all kinds of accusations, and it's easy to do now. With the internet and whatever is out there. I mean, there's industries that have popped up to help you keep the integrity of your business, or keep your reputation from people that just are out to destroy you. But a long story short, it ended up costing almost everything. Just I won't go into all the gory details, but there was a lot of damage done, and not only to me, but we were being very, very successful. We wanted the people that we knew and loved to be a part of that and participate and enjoy that, and it's ruined numerous lives, and it's been very difficult. But during this time, the thing that really gave me comfort and knowing, just helping me to keep that things would work out eventually, was because of all these experiences, I kind of chose this motto here from a great man: trust but verify. I mean, these were people that I knew. These were people that I thought that I could rely on, and so from then on, it's okay. You can trust somebody, but verify. Don't take their word. Don't take just because you think you know them and you think you realize what they are capable of and what they can do or what they won't do. Unfortunately, I found that we've heard the saying that I believe it was Joseph Smith who said, money makes good men better and bad men worse. It is so true. It is so true. I've just seen it, the greed overtake people. And it's a very difficult thing to see, excuse me. But the thing that kind of got me through it all and was helped me know that things would be okay is I knew that I had been exact in all my doings, no gray area. That's the only thing that really saved me, I think. Excuse me. It didn't matter what other people were saying, although it's very hurtful. It's very difficult. Just me knowing that I knew I didn't do anything wrong, that the only person who really matters knows. That was very, very beneficial for me. And it made me help me make it through it all. So I guess what I'm trying to say is just be careful of what's out there. Your integrity is more important than any amount of money you can make, and just be careful with what you do out there. It was my senior year of high school. I mean, I love sports. Football, wrestling, track. I just loved it all. And it was my senior year of high school, and I was wrestling a guy from our rival high school, and the wrestling in high school is nothing like what you see on TV. That's not wrestling. That's just entertainment. I don't know what that is, but it's not wrestling. Anyway, it was the senior year of high school. I was wrestling, and I had been doing pretty well, and this guy, he got me into a position, and he had I hurt my shoulder. I was out for a few weeks, but I kind of came back. I did okay, and it came time for the regional wrestling meet, which determines if you move on to go to state. And went through the preliminary rounds, got to the semifinal round, and here it was. I met up with this guy again, and it was the craziest thing because from the moment the whistle blew, all he was concentrated on was my shoulder. He was trying to get me in some hold or try and pressure it or do something, whether we were on the mat or standing up. All he was doing was trying to work my shoulder, and finally he got me in a hold, and he just yanked, and it was the most excruciating pain. It was just the referee stopped the match, disqualified the kid, but I had tore ligaments in my shoulder, and my coach tried to tape me up, and but I just couldn't go on. I had to forfeit the other matches, and for quite a while I had very, very limited use in my arm, I had no strength at all. Couldn't even do a push-up, and but what happened? Well, let me. Excuse me. I'm jumping ahead of myself here, but. Let me tell you, it was. I'll get back to the story in just a second. But after my mission, or on my mission, out of high school, I had this injury. I get on my mission, and one of the first things we did was went to McDonald's to have a burger and fries, and I don't know if you guys, I mean this is pretty common nowadays, right? Well, when I was growing up, you went to the get your burger and fries, and the ketchup came in little cups. So you dip your French fry in the cup and eat it and whatever. Well, I got on a mission, and this 1983, first time I'd seen something like this, and we get our burger and fries, and we were going along, and one good thing I learned also is never order anything straight off the menu, because it was my companion had worked in fast food, and he said, you don't know how long that stuff's been sitting there, so ask for extra pickles or no ketchup or no cheese or just anything to get a hot order off the grill. But that was beside the point. But it was kind of interesting thing to learn. But anyway, here I am, trying to open up this ketchup packet, and my granny's going, hey, can I help you out? No, I got it. No, I mean, it's a ketchup pack, right? And I struggled and struggled and struggled. And he said, here, let me help you. No, come on. I'm just trying to open up this ketchup. Finally, he asked again, and he says, here, let me help you. I said, okay. So I hand it to him, and he grabs it from the top, tears it off, half a second, gives it back, and I'm just going, oh. I thought of ketchup, okay, you tear off the top. I was trying to open it from the side. I don't know if you've ever tried to open a ketchup packet from the side. It's almost impossible. And so I think enough of people like me who didn't know how to open a ketchup, they put this tear here sign so you know that, hey, it's a ketchup packet, open it up. But the one thing I learned was don't have too much pride or in yourself to not accept input or suggestions from other people. It'll sure make your life easier. If nothing else, you'll be able to open up a ketchup packet a lot easier. Also, like I say, on my mission, I got to that point where, okay, I needed to start, trying to build my shoulder back up because it'd been, over a year and no ability to do anything. And so what I decided to do is I started to do chair push-ups. I don't know if you guys know what chair push-ups are, but you have 3 chairs. You have one that you put your feet on, and then you have two other chairs that you put on each side, and it allows you to really go deep in your push-ups, and it really builds the strength. And I think the first time I tried to do it, I did 2.5. I mean, I could barely do anything. But as I kept working at it, finally I got up to where I could do 100 push-ups. And I was the strongest I'd ever been, the most fit. I was feeling great. And it was really exciting when I got home, because I was looking forward to doing this. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that or seen it or watched it, but I tell you, it's the most adrenaline rush, fun-filled, exciting, scared you will ever be. And I had done a little bit before, and I got back, and here I was ready. I was really looking forward to getting back to bull riding. But it was about a month after I got back when I paid my entry fee. Then I found out. I was excited to see everybody because it was the livestock producer was the brand inspectors that I'd worked with at the sales barn. I knew all their sons. They were there. We were good friends. I had a crush on their daughter. The whole thing. And so it was really exciting to be back. And then I found out the bull that I drew that I was going to ride, Turkey. Now Turkey, this bull, he's probably about 1,800 pounds. Turkey was 2,600 pounds of massive, explosive rawhide. I think he'd been ridden twice for the full 8 seconds in the last 7 years. But I was excited. I was ready because I knew that if I could go the 8 seconds, I had the jackpot. There's no way that any other bulls or any other riders could compare to what I was doing. And so my turn came. I had one of the friends who knew the bulls because they grew up with them, and he said, "Okay, you watch for this. You make sure if he does this." Give me all these pointers. He was there helping me get on, and I get in. I couldn't even put my legs on the side of him. He was just filled up the chute, and so I put my head down and gave the nod, and the gate flew open, and out we went. And now Turkey, he had this interesting move that after about $3, as he would come up in the air, he would twist and change directions all at the same time. It was, and that's when most everybody would just lose it. They just couldn't stay on. But so I was ready for it. Sure enough, I was doing well, doing great. 3 or 4 jumps in, he does his little thing, and no matter how much I was prepared for it, it just was so very powerful. Something that you just takes you for a ride. And so I slipped a little to the side, but I was just hanging on. I wasn't gonna let go. And a couple more jumps, and a little more to the side, a little more. I'm kind of on the side now, and just hanging on for dear life, because literally, victory was in my grasp. If I could hang on, I had it. It was great. And a few more jumps, and I'm off, and oh, what a feeling! It was the best ride I'd ever had in my life. It was amazing. I was, jump up. I was excited. I'm running for the chute to be prepared or to get out of the way of turkey. And the clown, he comes running up to me, and I knew the guy because he was one that we'd worked with at the sales barn, and this old guy. He must, at least I thought he was old. He had to be in his mid-40s, but here's this guy as a clown, and he comes up to me, and he tells me things that I can't repeat here or anywhere. But he just rips into me. He says, "What were you thinking? Don't you ever do that again." And he just on and on and on. I'm like, what is he talking about? Here I just had the most exhilarating, amazing experience, and he's just jumping all over me. I just, man, what's going on? And then I got the looked up, and it was 7.8 seconds, 2/10 of a second from winning. But I didn't care because that was the best ride I'd ever been on. It was amazing. But then I got thinking about what he said, and it made me think, because I don't know if you know much about bull riding, but this right here is a bull rope. There's a little handle right here, and this strap kind of goes down, it hooks in and comes back up, and so. And you lay that across your hand, and that's what holds you and the bull rope on and gives you that control. And but if you go off the wrong way or something and you can't release, there's no way to get you disconnected or off from the bull or the bull rope. And a lot of people, some of them, they'll even do what's called a suicide wrap, aptly named, because they put it in their hand and then they wrap it around their hand and through again, and there's no way I'd ever do anything like this. It's so dangerous. But I realized that I was putting myself in danger. I wanted it so bad that I was not willing to let go. I didn't think, a young kid, you don't think of all these things, but it really could have caused me a lot of harm, because I was, getting down closer to the ground, and at any time, there was a picture that, this isn't Turkey, but I had a picture, I couldn't find it, but Turkey is bucking, and the bottom of his feet, he's close to the gate, the bottom of his feet are at the top of the gate. It was just massive bull, and if he would have come down on his a hoof on top of my body, my head, something, who knows what happened. It was definitely something that I was putting myself in danger, and I needed to let go. When I knew that I was having problems, when I knew I was going to go off the side, I should have let go, but I didn't. And I think that's kind of what, when I was going through some of these difficulties that I've had, is I wasn't willing to let go. I wanted it so bad. I put so much heart and soul and energy and effort into it, but I wasn't willing to let go. And I'm not saying that don't keep trying something. Has everybody heard of WD-40 or Formula 409 or Slick 50? Well, there's a reason it's called WD-40, and that's because WD-39, WD-38, WD-37, those didn't work. It was WD-40 that worked. So I'm not saying, oh, this doesn't work and give up. But if it's putting yourself or your family or your relationships, if it's putting those in danger, you gotta learn to let go. So be willing to let go if something that you're working on is overtaking yourself and it can causing damage to you. You just gotta let it go. And during this time, it was kind of interesting because I saw this little saying, and it kind of stuck with me. It said, when the floods come and water rises, fish eat ants. okay? And boy, I sure felt that I was getting eaten up, from all different directions. I was just, here I was, this little ant, and I was just being swarmed on. But then, it goes on, the little saying, and it said, but when the water recedes, fish eat ants. Oh, I'm sorry. When the water recedes, yeah. When the floods come, water rises, fish eat ants. When the water recedes, ants eat fish. And I thought, okay, I just got to hang on. I got to get through this. I'm in the floods. I'm in the storm. I'm going through all the hassles here. Hang on, because at some point, the ants are going to eat the fish. And it's been amazing. The water's receded, and I'll tell you, fish are tasting great. So I'm really excited, to. I'm really excited to be involved in this. The EcoSolve company. Again, I didn't come up with the ideas. I didn't create the formulas. I didn't do all this. We have a number of unique things that we're doing. We have an agricultural product that's been tested by the University of Nebraska. They've never seen anything like it as far as treating and helping the growth of agriculture. We've got a green cleaning product that we just received the USDA approvals. A lot of these products, they've been in development and testing for 6 or 7, 8 years, and I've just I feel I come along at the right time, the right place, the right product to take what's already there and move it to the next level. We have an air conditioning product that you put in your air conditioning units that eliminate the oil fouling on the inside to make it more efficient. Bottom line is, it saves 25-30% on your electrical consumption. Just people are. I've really been surprised at the response we've been getting from when we're talking to people. People that we're talking with manufacturers in Korea and Taiwan and Saudi Arabia and Africa and Europe. It's just amazing. And I'm really excited we're actually going to be, we're doing some things with the, Sustainability Task Force here on campus. And it's just really amazing to see, what we do or what the opportunities are. But I want you to know that, anybody who wants to, contact me, have any questions, concerned about stuff that you're doing, ideas, what happened, or what would I do in this situation, or anything, I'd be more than happy to talk to you, email you, send you an email, help you out. If you might even have, be interested in other parts of the world or wherever, we'd be happy to help you out in any questions you have. But I really, I'll just have a couple minutes. We'll open it up to questions. But thanks a lot. I really appreciate the opportunity of being here, and I hope you're able to take something from this and help you as you move forward into your endeavors and your entrepreneurship. Thanks. Any questions? Doesn't look like any questions. I'll be available here, if somebody wants to ask any individually, but thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being here. We're really glad to have had you here. Wonderful stories and things that I think all of us can use. So let's give Kirk one more round of applause. Thank you very much. We'll see you all next week.